Hey everybody, welcome to the Press Box. I'm Tariq Spence filling in for Bill Pucko. Joining us this week is Carl Falk. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. Good to see you.
Oh God, I like to shake hands while I can shake hands. And Pat Duffy, you gotta show the jacket.
Well, yeah, no, I thought there was like the world's greatest jacket competition going on in the Press Box today. It's a Stephon Diggs chalkline jacket, and you said you're familiar with chalkline jackets? Did you not have a good childhood in the 1990s?
No,
what are you,
I did
nuts?
not.
Oh, designy. Look at this. I got Stephon Diggs all over me. How great is this jacket?
No,
How great is this
I
jacket?
start with members only.
Medium.
Medium,
yeah.
You really did lose a lot of weight.
That's all I had left in stock when I went and got it.
I got to start, Carl, with the NBA. It's sort of like this lottery that everybody seems to be winning here. I mean, listen, you got to talk about Steph Curry. He deserves that $200 million contract. But then you go to Miami. My goodness, Jimmy Butler. You got Kyle Lowry. You've got all these different players. Trae Young. That's a lot of money going right out the window for superstar franchise players.
It's really crazy to me. You mentioned Steph Curry, Trae Young. Those guys are going to get max contracts, whatever that max contract is. And in the NBA right now, it's $200 million for 5 years, which, as crazy as that seems, it's the going rate. But what gets me, you mentioned the Heat, Duncan Robinson, a kid who I like. He's, great story, undrafted, can really shoot it. $90 million.
Absolutely.
Nerlens Noel, who averaged 5 points and 6 boards for an average team last year, got $33 million for 3 years. $11 million a year. That is so much money. I'm really happy for our local guys who are in the league because they're going to get paid. I mean, Isaiah is going to get paid. Thomas Bryant already got paid. Hopefully there's some for Anthony Lamb out there. Bring Rochester's wealth up a little bit.
Yeah, and let me borrow some money if you guys are watching. Look, everything was insane. I laughed out loud when I saw that Timothy Mozgov got a $64 million contract. And look, bottom line is this. If you got a kid, take him out of hockey, take him out of baseball, take him out of football, put them on a park or in the gym, and do not let them out until they're done shooting at 18 years old. How can any other kid right now consider, if you have aspirations of being a pro athlete, any other sport other than the NBA with the money that's flying around?
I was laughing the other day. Listen, I like Tim Hardaway Jr., but I think in his career has already made like $150 million over his contracts in years after signing this new one. Congratulations to him on that. I think, Carl, you made a very good point. This is where the market is. It's not like, they're robbing banks here. This is the market, and this is the going rate for good players in the NBA and average players in the NBA.
Yeah, and Chris Paul, Hall of Famer, $450 million lifetime earnings.
Yeah, right.
Something crazy. Like, nobody's going to name Chris Paul as one of the all-time greats, even though he's a likely Hall of Famer. But let's go back a couple years, or a year and a half. Daryl Morey, then Rockets GM, made a comment, freedom for Hong Kong, right? And everyone freaked out in the league. You can't say that. You can't do that. Why? Because so much of their money is coming from China, from other countries, not from our country, but from other countries. And they're so cognizant of that money stream. And this is why.
Well, it looks like it's going to pay off as well. Any comment on Carmelo Anthony going to the Lakers? I had to ask.
Yeah, what are you doing? Everyone got all excited the other day. Wow, we got a guy that's never done anything in professional basketball. We get him for a whole year, and he's almost 90 years old.
Never done anything?
Okay, professional basketball. Well, going 2 rounds into playoffs as the guy with the Knicks is a pretty impressive thing. Well, he made it Western Conference Finals with the Nuggets when he was a kid, right?
Ben Wallace just made the Hall of Fame. Carmelo Anthony's a Hall of Famer.
Well, he's a Hall of Famer based on his international play, although I think Tariq might be a Hall of Famer based on his international play as well. You put him on that roster.
Yeah, Ben Wallace, man of mystery.
Ben Wallace changed games legitimately based on his skill set. Can you say the same thing on the majority of games?
Yes.
Oh, come on.
Listen, I'm no big Carmelo fan, but the guy could score. He could always fill it up. And he carried bad Knicks teams. He was a great scorer in the league for a long time. He's going to be a Hall of Famer.
There are lots of guys that could score. The question isn't could he score. The question is could he affect a game in a positive way?
And you see why I asked this question at the end of this first segment. Bill's questions are coming up next about Texas or Buffalo, Buffalo or Texas. That's a big question. We'll do it in the Bill segment next. You're watching the Rochester Press Box.
Original Bay Goodman Pizza, located on the corner of North Winton at Browncroft. There are 3 ways to get the original Bay & Goodman delivery. Go to baygoodman.com.
Welcome back to the Press Box. Bill's segment is up right now. Pat Duffy, I go to you first because of the rumors and interest in Buffalo moving to Texas for football.
Okay, like everyone knows they're not going anywhere. You're not going to move this team. It's not going to happen. Here's what I don't understand. So the reports from the Buffalo News earlier this week is that the Pegulas want $1.5 billion with none of their money to build a new stadium and improve Key Bank Center where the Sabres play. That comes out. They don't give a statement to the Buffalo News when they run that story. They looked for him. They didn't give him one. The next day, after everyone freaks out, the folks from Pegula Sports and Entertainment comes out and goes, well, everyone's overreacting. That number's not accurate. But then they refuse to say if the number is higher or lower that they asked the state for. Then you have Pelissaro, NFL Network reporter who's normally up on his stuff, reporting that a source inside the franchise says that Austin would be a place that we're not threatening, but if there was a place we were going to go, Austin would be one of them. How are they so bad at public relations? Like, you started the negotiations at $0 from billionaires. Then, literally like 18 hours later, here comes this report. Well, we could go here if that's what we're going to do. You have all of this goodwill built up. The team has not been good. I love the Bills. The team has not been good for 25 years. You had one remarkable season, and you start at 0 and Austin? Like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
I don't know what they're doing, Carl. Do you know what they're doing?
Yes, they're doing what they always do. It's funny. You said they have a lot of goodwill built up. I don't agree with that.
With Bills fans.
With Bills fans
yes,
right now.
Yes.
Bills fans still see Terry and Kim Pegula as deities that they've done great things. Sabre fans are over here going, really? Great? Goodwill? What have they done? I mean, you look at everything that they've done. Harbor Center has been a success. Of course, the pandemic, now we don't know where it is. Their hospitality businesses are down in the dumps. The oil and gas businesses are capped right now because of the pandemic and supply and demand. Hopefully they'll come back. But when Tim Graham did that article last year about PSE, and the quote that will stick with me forever, in a memo sent out to all PSE employees, Kim Pegula said, our biggest goal is maintaining our family lifestyle. Are you kidding me? You're a billionaire sending that to people making $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. How tone deaf can you possibly be? They are the most tone deaf, clueless individuals on the face of the earth. And the fact that they're not smart enough to buy a PR firm or hire somebody to tell them to shut up is incredible to me.
In Kim Pegula's defense, if I was a billionaire, I would also be most interested in maintaining my lifestyle.
But you wouldn't tell the person working for
But if I'm a
you
billionaire,
wouldn't say it that way.
If I'm a billionaire, I can't say that because I'm a billionaire. What are you going to do? I'm a billionaire.
But the other end of this, too, this goes back a couple of years. We were talking a bit about the culture of the Sabres organization at the time, and we were hoping that it wouldn't seep over to the Buffalo Bills, and now it seems to be seeping over to the Buffalo Bills.
Well, look, I will say this. Like, everything outside and, like, how they handle stuff PR-wise is not great. In the defense of the Pegulas, not great. Like, it's understatement of the century.
It's horrific.
In the defense of the Pegulas when it comes to the Sabres, it's not like they haven't tried. Like, they've spent money. They've hired coaches all over the board. They went with the local legends that came back home. They went with a guy that's won a Stanley Cup. They went with someone who was completely off the board. They've spent money on free agents just for whatever reason, whether it's the front office, whatever. They can't make it work. I can't fault them for not trying. What I, as a Sabres fan, would wish would happen is if they just listen to somebody who's done this before, right? That's the problem. I don't think they don't want it. I think that they have a hard time handing control over to somebody else, and that's where the root of the problem is.
That's exactly it. When they said Pat LaFontaine bye-bye, and there's a lot of rumors why that happened, whatever, when they decided they didn't need somebody above the general manager, below them, that person to run it, that killed the Sabres. And if you look at the Bills, they are literally, in my opinion, one hire away from the Bills and the Sabres being the same organization. Sean McDermott came in.
Oh, yes, now. I thought
Sean McDermott came in.
You had him nervous.
He brought Brandon Beane with him, and that changed that organization and changed the culture. They haven't found that one person, and literally, Sean McDermott has saved them because without him, their entire Rex Ryan's Bills were the same as the Sabres.
Sure.
So it is a bad situation. I'm 80% sure they'll be in Buffalo forever. 80%. But I'm saying there's a chance.
No, there's no chance. There's no chance this team goes anywhere. I'm telling you, there is not a chance this team goes anywhere.
I love these debates. That is the Bills segment coming up next. Like it or not, join us here in the Rochester Press Box.
Here's the Press Box trivia question brought to you by Market View Liquor, where exceptional customer service meets an extensive selection. Jefferson Road at 390.
All of these things show Josh Allen has a strive for greatness inside of him.
Falkin Around with Carl Falk. New episodes every Tuesday on Rock Sports Now.
Here's the Press Box trivia answer brought to you by Market View Liquor, where exceptional customer service meets an extensive selection. Jefferson Road at 390.
Are you facing criminal charges from a DWI and feel that you never imagined it could happen to you? Contact attorneys with years of experience as prosecutors and defenders. Contact Pegula Brothers Law today for a free consultation. You can put your trust in us.
Quickly, like it or not, the NBA saw two pretty big stars move this week.
Yeah, I think for Carmelo Anthony, it's a good thing for him, and it's a very good thing for the Knicks. If the Knicks are ever going to move on, they needed to get Carmelo out. It's not all his fault. Phil Jackson had a big part in what's been a mess there. And let's see how he can make it work out. If he were to adjust his game and realize who he is now, I think he could have some success with Oklahoma City. Let's see if he does that. I don't think Carmelo... Oklahoma City is an interesting team, but they still need some other parts because their level to go against is still Golden State, even to get out of the West. So I'll say Wade for right now because that's what LeBron needs. He needs those extra pieces.
Welcome back to the Rochester Press Box. This segment of the Press Box, like it or not, is being brought to you by Pegula Brothers Law, attorneys with years of experience defending the accused. Don't go unprepared. Contact Pegula Brothers Law today. All right, Major League Baseball deadline trading. Oh, my goodness. Carl, it was unbelievable, the transactions that took place.
56 trades, huge names. The Dodgers get Trey Turner, who a lot of people don't realize how good that kid is. He might be the best shortstop in baseball. And, of course, Max Scherzer. Everyone who's a contender improved themselves. The Giants get Chris Bryant. Mets get Javi Baez. Yankees, Rizzo and Gallo. It's just crazy. In a league of haves and have-nots, that divide just got greater, too. Because now, salaries, we were talking about it with the NBA, people are looking, you're going to have to pay 10 years, $300-some-odd million to keep these guys. Who wants to do it? There's only a handful of teams willing to do so, so it really creates a big divide.
I think Rizzo going to the Yankees, and I get it, he hit a home run, so did Bryant, so did Baez, all these different players that came over basically on their first day of work, get the fanfare. Rizzo to me seems to be that kind of energy. He had that with Chicago. The Yankees needed that. That lineup was pretty dead for a while with a lot of great players on there with Judge and Stanton. I think Rizzo can be the glue to put that together for the last 2 months.
He's a great clubhouse guy, he's a great leader, and he's a great glove man at first base, which moves LeMahieu back to second where he's better. Torres maybe a little bit more comfortable. They get Urshela back. Defense is better as well. That's a big thing.
Like it or not, Phillip Rivers is starting to make some noise. He just retired in January after so many years in the NFL, obviously mostly with the Chargers, now with the Colts. Now he seems to be, I don't know, interested in coming back.
So two things. One, of course he's interested in coming back. It's a couple $1 million. He never gets touched, right?
He has 8 kids.
Yeah. Try and feed 8 kids, man. Even on a $10 million a year salary, that's tough. But it also gives me the impression that with the whole Carson Wentz situation, maybe Phillip Rivers wasn't ready to walk away from Indianapolis. Maybe he still wanted to play, and this idea that it was his decision to go wasn't entirely true, right? Because that all happened really fast. Phillip Rivers completely disappeared. He went and played, 8-kid dad, high school football coach. I get the impression that he was told, we don't want you here anymore, and he didn't want to move his half a city to another city to do it all over again.
8 kids alone. He is 39 years of age. You got some time to sort of rest, go home. Maybe you want to go back to work for a little bit. And the Colts could use him.
Yeah, Jacob Eason is their starter right now. Kid, 4th-round pick last year out of Washington. Big arm, raw. That team, you look at rosters, that's the most complete, with the exception of the quarterback position, roster in the league. They're really good everywhere except the quarterback. So I think they'll make a move. Why not Mitch Trubisky?
Because we want Mitch Trubisky.
What would
you finally have a backup with Josh. You finally have a guy that you might be able to rely on, and you're going to trade him away?
Still available.
Okay, wait a minute. Jake Fromm? Yeah, no. Keep Trubisky. You keep him.
Third-round pick?
This has the most fiery, like it or not, show of 2021. And to think we have unfinished business coming up next. You're watching the Rochester Press Box. The Press Box Stat of the Week is being brought to you by McArdle's Restaurant in Fairport. McArdle's is open 7 days a week with dining available indoors and out, takeout and delivery. Come home to McArdle's.
Came now to Eichel. He floated one. Score!
Welcome back to the Rochester Press Box. Time for unfinished business, and Pat Duffy fires off first.
Hey, when did teenagers become so good at everything when it came to sports? Because I feel like I can't watch any moment of the Olympics anymore without seeing a 15, 16, 17, 18-year-old winning some kind of medal in something I could never imagine doing if I dedicated my life to it. It's been amazing to watch the United States track team. 17-year-old kid, still in high school, wins a medal in the Olympics this week. How does that happen? He gets to go back to his high school. The swimmer from Alaska goes back to school wearing a gold medal around her neck, man. I'm thinking about this if I was a 16, 17-year-old kid, right? Because you try to grasp on anything that gives you confidence, right? You get a new haircut, you walk in with your shoulders back. Could you imagine the fun you would have as a 16, 17, 18-year-old kid with a freaking gold medal? If I got to do it all again and I was given some kind of genetic advantage when it came to sports, like these folks seem to have that I'm watching on TV, give me the ability to be a teenage sports icon, even if that's all I get. Because the best time in your life to have that kind of thing is when you're 16, 17, 18 years old.
Agreed. This week was an interesting basketball tournament that finished up. It's based on March Madness. It's called the Basketball Tournament. It's a winner-take-all $1 million tournament. Boeheim's Army, a team largely made up of former Syracuse players, has been in it for a couple years. And this year, they won the grand prize. A great three-point shot with the lamenting, a whole other topic that I won't get into, gave the Boeheim's Army team the win. Former players like Eric Devendorf were hugging Jim Boeheim and Buddy Boeheim and Julie Boeheim on the sidelines. It was a great moment. But it's not a title for Syracuse University. We're not hanging a banner in the Carrier Dome. It was entertainment. It was fun. Let's not get too carried away.
Last week, my wife and I were driving home the night of the NBA draft, and I said to her, honey, we have to turn on the draft. I got to find out who's going to get drafted for my New York Knicks. She replied to me, don't do it. I can't watch it. It's just too much interest stories, and I cry every single time. Only to have my teenage son have the draft on when we walk to the door, and who gets drafted but Terrence Clark, the young man who unfortunately died in a car crash before he got drafted. His family went up there, did the whole thing, and shook hands with the commissioner and everything. And what do? Look over at my wife, seeing her cry. These are the type of things that go on in NBA draft and the NFL draft, and the reason why she refuses to watch it with me. The human interest stories are amazing, and they do a great job covering them. The best to do it is the Olympics. They find a way to find exactly what you're looking for as far as why we should be rooting for certain athletes from across not only this country, but across the world. And one of the best things about it is baseball and the NHL have to start finding ways to do that. Tell the human interest stories on individuals so you can bring in a broad audience. Yes, they may cry, but so will you, and appreciate the effort they put and grind they put just to get to the most elite level. That's the Rochester Press Box for this week. Carl, as always, great to find you. Where can they find the podcast?
Falkin Around Podcast, available on Apple, Buzzsprout, where all the cool kids hang out.
And where can I get a jacket like that?
I'm going to keep that to myself because when I go to the stadium, I want to be the only cool cat wearing this. I said cool cat, so I can't be cool anymore. But you get what I'm saying. I'm keeping this to me.
I'm sure they don't have it in my size anyway. That's okay. That's the Rochester Press Box for this week. Bill Pucko will be back next week. Have a great day.